Just a little micro update for you guys. We're on a quick and dirty job up here on the cabin top. As you can see, we've pulled off the muffler cowling. There used to be a wooden ring right here. Yesterday we ripped it off, cleaned up the surface, formed this foam ring, and now we're gluing it down real quick before this imminent rain hits. So apologies for lack of coverage and narration, but gotta get this job done. So basically, like I said, we just cut a ring real quick, fit it up to the bottom of the cowling over there, and glued it down to the old cabin top after grinding off the gel coat yesterday. Put a nice fillet on it, and now I'm just doing a couple layers of plus minus 45 1708 cloth, and then CSM 8-ounce mat to the finishing layer on it.
Ounce and a half.
Ounce and a half, that says. My mistake. So prior to this, it was pretty rough plywood, or not plywood, just like 2x4 ring they had on here, and it seemed to have several reapplications of sealant of various types, and it was time to fix it up because it was leaking all over the day bunk down there. So it was in need of some love.
Yeah, it's kind of been Operation Fix the Leaks this last couple of days. We eliminated the stanchion that was up forward that had the radar and a light on it. We're gonna build a bracket and mount our radar properly on the mast where it should be. And so, yeah, those bolts were leaking. Those bolt holes were leaking, which was super annoying to drip on the dash right there. So anything that you had there would get wet. Not a bad leak, but just enough to bug you. And
Nuisance leak.
yeah, nuisance leak for sure. So that's gone now, and then this was the other one. This was only going to get worse for sure. So good to get it dealt with. Like Matt said, just kind of a fast job. Doesn't need to be super nice. This isn't really structural. More than anything, this raises the flange of the shroud that goes around this deck. It just raises it up off the deck. And what that does is that when water runs across the deck, it'll hit this and flow away. Whenever you just put a plate down on a deck without having a raised lip that it sits on, it tends to just drive underneath there over time. Your sealant loosens up, and then you get leaks. When it's like this, very rarely will you ever get any leaks, and if it does, it's just going to be super minor. But it's much better, more robust way of mounting things. So like I say, this isn't really structural. This whole shroud is through bolted into the cabin, and it'll be plenty strong again. As long as we seal those bolts up good, we won't have any problems.
Today's agenda, we are gonna try and remove this inside of this cap rail here. I'll get up here close. You can kind of see the state it's in. There's a chunk missing here. There's a rotten chunk there. There's 2 layers of what looks to be about 1 inch by 6. And it is in a pretty rough shape. So this, the top of the cap rail here seems to be in this decent condition. We're going to try and preserve that and just remove this inside 2 layers The outside over here also has a pretty decent looking shape. I don't know. We'll try and preserve it so that we don't have to like build it all from scratch, but the main goal is to get rid of this inside because it's just like, it's completely done. That didn't take much. Yeah, certainly not much structural integrity left in that wood. This area here doesn't look as bad, but I can see like under where pads were, there's some pretty ugly rot. So I imagine once we pull these out, this stuff is going to be pretty loose, and I don't expect the fasteners to be in any better condition. So back here especially, you can see more of the same, just big old rot holes, you know. That ain't no good. That ain't gonna do anything for us, so yeah, we'll carry on. Pretty much. It's been like a year. It's been like 2 months. It's been about the same as it's been for me and Dad. All right, so we got those bolts and the screws and the legs trimmed off. Clean up that bedding compound, come back through, clean up this seam here. There's like a buildup of old glass and stuff, and we'll probably just slap a little gel coat on underneath just to seal up that raw fiberglass there. And yeah, that should be good. Start working out what we need to do for boards. Like I said, probably just use a 2x6, and we'll just trim back the top rail to match up with the 2x6, and that'll be plenty fine. So we'll bring you guys back and probably start on that side tomorrow. We use the hose to wash away all the rust and dirt, so let that dry overnight. Got the dehumidifier going, so that'll be good. We'll leave the furnace on to put a little bit of heat in here overnight.